So I wanted to ask you about angels
Okay.
and intervention and prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you, first, let me ask you, do you believe in like actual angels intervening in our lives?
I do. Yeah. I think there's different types of angels. I think angels are very real.
Do you believe that prayer can be done wrong? Like just talking to God without any structure, that you're, praying over certain things and, the wrong people are listening kind of, and then,
I think
those things get
I th-
attacked, basically.
I think you are susceptible to praying to the wrong thing, praying for the wrong thing. In my opinion, and I'm just like a baby Christian, to quote Kanye again, but I think God knows your heart, and I don't think there's one certain way to do it. My Catholic friends might disagree, but I think God knows your heart, and if your heart in your prayer is pure, then that is okay. But people do pray for things that maybe they shouldn't pray for, like things about the material world. But even that, like that's tough. I'm trying to put it like kind of think about what I read earlier with James 5 is like, don't be shackled to the material world. And sometimes people pray for that as if that's their only salvation, and it will come through wealth or status, which is wrong. But people can certainly be deceived and have bad thoughts that are the best way to describe it is like whispering in their ears, like demons, because I believe in angels and I believe in demons. And the best way to describe that would be the book by C.S. Lewis, The Screw Tape Letters, which is a great book. And it's just letters between two demons, Screwtape and Wormwood, and they have their clients. And all they're meant to do is to whisper basically sins into their ears, make them have certain cravings, make them do certain things, and it starts little, small things, and they escalate. And that is, and they're doing it in a way where these clients, as they put it, are unaware that they think they're good people and they're having these intrusive thoughts and they're dealing with it. But I think that's a very real thing, and people don't pay attention to it at all. So you have to be very, very aware of that. Does that answer your question?
Uh, Kind of. I'm scared. You've recommended that book a few times. I'm scared to read it. But
It's good.
let,
C.S.
let me
Lewis is one of
let
the
me tell
greats.
you why I'm asking, and maybe it'll make more sense.
Okay.
To do this, I have to say some personal things, and it's like it's the only way I can frame these questions
That's okay.
because it's the way I think about it. It's why I think about it. And also, I want to add, I almost feel it almost feels narcissistic to frame these things as happening to me because they involve deaths of other people, and those didn't happen to me. They happened to them, and those people are part of my life. So it's like it just feels a little. But you'll see why maybe I struggle with the connection. And so it was 2020, late 2022. I was kind of had a moment where I realized like I was mad about something, and I was like, man, my life if you had told me when I was 15 I would have what I have and be sitting in the house I'm sitting in with the job I have and the people around me, I wouldn't have believed you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, and so it began like a journey where I started praying again. When you have it good, you don't really pray a lot.
You
You
should.
pray when most people pray. The average person, they kind of, I don't know, it becomes less important when your life is more
Mm-hmm.
destitute.
Okay.
You pray a lot. But that's the space I was in. So I started praying. And basically what I was doing is every day when I left the house, I would tell my girlfriend and my dad and my son who all live with me that I love them. Like, I left at 4:45 in the morning. I'd actually wake them up and be like, I love you. I'm headed off to work. And then I would pray as I was leaving the gate. I would pray, just talking to God, and, Jesus, the way I understand him,
Mm-hmm.
and saying like, thank you for, and I would list them in order, but it was like, it was my mother, my father, my girlfriend, my son, my best friend. He was pretty much my only good friend, and my dogs. And, thank you for my job and everything I have, and, in my life right now.
Yep.
And over the next course of the year, like it started like February, my dog got hit and killed in front of me. My mom checked in the hospital and died in June. I got fired in July. My best friend died in October, and then my dad died 2 weeks before Christmas. And there was a few other things in there, but it just felt like everything from that list was being systematically picked off, you know? And on one hand, like I said, those things didn't actually happen to me, but I can't help but like I was mad at God for a while, and I don't know where to place that because I've always believed in God. I think religion's fake, but I believe in God. I can't. Every church I've ever been to, I could tell you the stories, but a lot of corruption and just, you know, it's just seems like a business model with bad people in charge. I've never found a good space there. So I talk to God in my own way, but I'm just wondering if you think that, like, you know, trying to do it on your own and not really, I don't read the Bible and not instructed by that. And I've been exposed to it a lot, but just praying to God on your own without any real format other than opening yourself up to, you know, Jesus do you think it could be dangerous?
I think if your heart and your intentions are good and you want to just talk to God and pray, that there's no wrong prayer.
I also think that even if you're mad at God, you should talk to God because he's the one who's not gonna judge you.
I would also advise in reading the Bible. Look, I don't think churches are the end all be all. I don't think you have to go to church to be a good Christian. I like going. I found a good church, and I like the structure of it, and it's good for my kids to see their parents taking it seriously. But I think the Bible is the most important part, and it, for me, as I've realized in the past few years, is a blueprint through human suffering to salvation, and it's all about how we understand and navigate darkness. Like I was just saying last night, one of my favorite books in the Bible in the Old Testament is Job, and how these things are a test. We're always being tested, and they seem to happen more when you are a believer, you know. And I'm thankful to have the tests. I'm thankful to be here. Every day is a blessing. I've experienced kind of nonstop darkness for most of my life, and loss, grief, suicides, overdoses, debt, poor, homeless, you know, NICUs. It's all types of crazy stuff. And before I had God, I felt completely lost in all of that. I was just drifting at sea. And now when these things happen, and they still do, despite your faith, because it's going to happen, it's human, and these are tests, I have an anchor to keep me grounded. And I'm thankful that my family agrees with me on these things. But I just think if you talk to God and you have the right intentions, that's a good thing. But again, I would advise you to look at the Bible for advice, for inspiration. The Psalms are amazing. These songs, these poems to God, they're like love letters to God, and those are good places to start. Also, if you are praying, if you're looking for help into prayer, I look to the Psalms. Are amazing.
I know Shane's not a fan of ChatGPT or Grok or anything like that, but once in a while, you could ask ChatGPT, "Hey, just give me a prayer for today. Hi, I'm feeling frustrated. I need a prayer. I'm feeling."
And down. It gives you like a verse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't. I wouldn't trust that thing. I think that thing's like a monster. So I wouldn't trust it to feed me spiritual advice. I'm already like I used to listen to this church that online all the time. I won't name it, but it was in he went off not that long ago attacking Candace Owens and Big from Big and Rich and Ian Carroll, and he had an opinion about this stuff, and which I know not to be true, and I just have a hard time now listening to him tell me about things thousands of years ago that I'm taking his interpretation on, when he's getting things that are literally happening right now so wrong, and his interpretation of that is so wrong that it's like, okay, now I have to take your opinion. It's like when you're reading a newspaper and you have an article that you don't know anything about, and then you you're a mechanic and you read one on mechanics, you realize they're full of crap, and then you read the next article and you're like, oh, I agree with it. Like they must be right. I feel like that a lot of times.
Yeah, it's like what Tim says about Gell-Mann's amnesia. You know,
yeah, that's the term.
Yep.
Right.
And so how do you trust a paper if you read on this page, you're like, oh, I didn't know any of this stuff about whatever Gaza. You turn the page and it's about mechanic down the road, and you're like, I know that person, and that's totally wrong. And that does apply to some pastors, and unfortunately, a lot of them are extremely. They just can't divorce themselves from the Zionist attitude, and it's like, okay, well then, if they're misinterpreting the Bible there, how else are they? And you gotta just listen to everybody.
I'm sorry to add. That was the second half of his sermon was full Israel.
Right.
Yeah, and I just can't find a church that doesn't eventually have sermons. Even when I was in an all black neighborhood, they would have these sermons that were just all Israel. So I grew up with this view of them being like this kind of sacred people and stuff. And like, I didn't ever really understood why, or
they're having
how one people could be better than the other, but
they're having a very hard time divorcing the government of Israel from people. And so it's like, we don't have to support Netanyahu. That's not biblical. So it's ridiculous to think that. But yeah, I look up a lot of old pastors, but it depends on your denomination stuff. I like these non-denominational guys. I like R.C. Sproul, listen to him. And I don't think I agree with everything he says. I don't know. I haven't listened to everything. I like MacArthur. Both these guys are dead now. I do have a MacArthur study Bible, and it's fascinating to read through just because it's every single word is like annotated, and he goes through like what this means and da 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 da. But I also have the Bible app, and I like this because I'm a super nerd, and I like looking at different verses. Like I read one earlier, and it was the New International Version, but you can go through all the different types of translations. And I love that because you can see how just little words change, and those little words mean a lot, and there's that we could fight over all these interpretations and translations forever. But that's why I like the Bible app, and also it'll be like an audiobook. It'll read it for you as well, and you can flip back and forth between the translations and learn a lot that way. But I would just pray however it feels. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I felt like a complete fraud. I literally spent 2 years telling people like, I don't know what to do. I thought there was some way. I didn't feel right. But it was really just me being insecure after being militantly atheist for so long. And I felt like a fraud trying it. And then I just had to stop that. And after a series of events, it became very clear to me that this was real. All this is real. And a light went off, and I was like, I don't need to have a certain structure here. I just need to have it in my heart that I have the right intentions and just have this conversation. And I talk to God all the time. I talk to him when things are going well and things are going bad. I ask for guidance. I ask for strength and confidence. I protect my family, and I'm constantly thanking him for my family. And every day I have here is a complete blessing. And
that's what I was doing, and I was doing it out loud.
Yep.
And I only have 2 of them left within the span of 6 months. So it was like, it just felt like, I don't know. But do you think there's a difference between praying out loud and praying in your head? I've heard people say that, demons can hear your voices, but not your thoughts. So like,
I don't think so. I haven't really listened to a lot of people talk about that, honestly, but that's just my opinion. I don't think so. I think imagination is a portal to God. So I think it's fine to do it silently, but I also think it's good to do it out loud. And, we pray out loud at dinner. I think that's good, but I also teach the kids to pray silently. It just really depends on the situation, what you're feeling, but always try to just keep them in your head and always have that communication open, especially when things are going bad, but also when things are going good. That line of communication, you should always be talking to God no matter what. But these things, it's also human nature to have loss and suffering, and it's horrible, but it's also a test, unfortunately, and thankfully, I have God and His Word to fall back on in times, even when it feels like He's not there, because sometimes it does feel like that. That's a natural human flawed thing to feel every now and then. Which is, again, I'll do another book recommendation real quick. That's why I read Flannery O'Connor. She was a Catholic and a great writer, and she wrote a lot about people who claim to be Christ-like, but were complete frauds. and she was rather violent in her stories. And she took care of these people. She had crazy stories. A Good Man is Hard to Find is one of her most popular ones. Highly recommend it. But she has a whole series of stories about this, kind of punishing people. It's very Old Testament like, but she punished these people who were unrepentant sinners and who claimed to be Christian.
How come we don't have any super pastors like those Joel Osteens that sell out like Super Bowl stadiums every day, and those people are allowed to like exist, and they're just spreading their
prosperity,
polluted crap. All the scope of their operation is enormous, and we have none of. I don't feel like we have any of those that have ever rose to any prominence. Speaking what I feel is like true Christianity. Those people, that Joel Osteen dude and that other guy that's like him, they look like actual demons, like Gavin Newsom type.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't pay attention to those people. I mean, I know what they're doing. That's never been something for me.
Why are they allowed to? Why does God not stop that? If intervention, why not that? That's such
because we have free will. It's part of the game. It's part of the test. And it's not just that. There's churches out there that claim to be good non-denominational, good Baptist, good Lutheran, and they're captured. So it's like, it's not just those which most of us easily point to and be like, that's a problem there. They're stealing, it's corrupt, it's greedy, it's weird, it's sinful. But there's also lots of churches that are smaller and they're heretical. And for all types of reasons, they've let modern ideology slip in to their interpretations of the scripture, and that's also bad. But I believe it's allowed to happen because we have free will, and those people are failing the test.
Oh shoot! I didn't realize I took so much of your time. Thanks, Shane, for answering those questions. As you can tell, I struggle. I'm like, one day I wake up more Brandon, and one day I wake up more on where you're at. And ultimately I believe in God, and I believe I've told you about ghosts and things I've seen. I know there's a spiritual realm, and I know there's a spiritual warfare. And I struggle with the Bible and churches because I know things have been taken out and edited and they've passed through the hands of, that's like passing things through CNN and everybody else through these kings, and then handing me this thing and asking me to take it for like the actual gospel. Because anytime when I see God touch man in such a significant way, they've all been corrupted in my personal experience. So it's just.
Yep. I mean, it's just unfortunately part of our human nature, part of the fallen world that we have now. But I really would advise you to, just start from the beginning of the Bible. I just reread the first like 5 or 6 books of the Old Testament, and Genesis it's just amazing. And then like go find Jonah. I love the book of Jonah. I love Job.
I don't understand it. When I read it, I don't understand the language structure. It's like if I was, it was this different language to me, how it's written. I just don't.
Try the Bible app. Try the Bible app and have it read it, and then listen. I mean, if you do care, if you want to try, like reread it, re-listen to it. I've been rereading the book of Jonah. I mean, it must have been 100 times now. It's kind of funny, it's hilarious, and it's also really depressing, and it's absurd. It's kind of like a Charlie Kaufman film. It's very weird, but I love that book. It's so interesting. It says so much about human nature. And a lot of these stories don't make a lot of sense at first too, because they seem a bit absurd, but there's so much truth in them. And so I'd say try reading it, rereading it, and I'd like to think, and I'll pray on it, that it'll start to click for you. But I think it's also very normal. It's like my experience after years of mocking this, totally writing it off. I just had like one day it just dawned on me like, it just made sense all of a sudden. And I can't make sense of that. It's just, other than God said that's that. And I was there and I was ready, and it happened. And here I am. I'm still learning, still figuring out how to talk about it, how to make it make sense out loud, but just making it happen as I go.
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing me so much time to get that out. It's really hard thing to frame, you know, and
Of course.
you know, my question changes daily. What app are you using? And then I'll let you guys go. And then thanks a lot. And I'll see you next week.
Of course. Yeah, it's the Holy Bible app. And you get all the different translations there. And it'll read it for you. It'll send you a little verse in the morning. I love it. It's great. I'm not sponsored by the Holy Bible app, but now I'm going to tell them, no, it's their best. I love the app. It's one of the only apps I use. So hope you try it, dude.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Of course.